Okay, I'm back live streaming. Sorry that I'm late. There's some technical difficulties. It's too hot in this room. The weather is just getting better and better. Let me put this myself. Let me put the chat. Move this over here. So I could. I'm trying to fix myself. Give me a second. Apologies. And go for the chat. See who's there. Stream. Hey, Sharky. Thanks for coming in. And put your comment in the top. I will make sure to stand by because I'm inviting people after I say my story. Sorry that I'm late. Um, so give me a second. It's hot in here. I got to put my AC and all that stuff, but I apologize. Hey, Barry Johnson. Thanks for coming in, my brother. Today's going to be story time, and I got to look at the camera. So give me a second. I'm sorry, it's mad hot up in this room. Thanks, everybody, for coming in. Let me, right there, cool, straight. So before I get started, I want to break this down. Make sure, give me a second, make sure everything's plugged or unplugged. Because my battery is bad on my computer. It's an old computer. Ready? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome. This is Tech for Uni, and today it's going to be story time telling why I became a creator and stuff like that. So let me go. Why I became a content creator, and this is stem from way back. And some of y'all know it stems from way back. It started in high school. So before I get started, I just want to have more people in the chat. So I'm gonna give it like 1 or 2 minutes, and then I'm gonna continue just to see if enough people come in, so I could tell the story. I don't want to tell it and repeat it. I don't mind repeating it again, but I want to have more people. I apologize for this. It's just too hot up in this room. Summer's coming, so I need to put the AC and give me a fan. So yeah. So how's everybody's doing? How's everything? And then I will take questions, and then I will invite people. And if I think you're worth getting invited, you get invited. I'll put it out there. So I'm glad that I'm rocking. I'm glad everything's going good. Beautiful day and everything. Everybody saying hi to everybody. Much appreciated. Let me see if more people come in. There's only 4 people right now. Okay, in a few minutes I'm gonna start. Go again with it. Oh man, it's hot in this room. So yeah. So I want to say thanks to everybody that's here, even the lurkers, the lurking, they haven't talked on the actual thingy. Currently I got 3 people, so I'm waiting for more. And it's weird because on YouTube say 4 people. But it's cool anyway. I digress. So rocking this without the wind muff. I'm gonna try it. Y'all let me know how it's the audio and the visuals. Is everything's good? Once again, I'm gonna get started right now. A long time ago, I went to high school, a vocational high school. So the first year, you study everything in every trade, and then you make a decision of which trade you're gonna pick for the rest of the remaining of high school 3 years. So we used to do the alpha and beta. 1 week you and you trade, and the other week you're in academics. Excuse me. So make sure there's nobody else. So 1 week you're academic, 1 week you are in your studies, regular math, science, and all that. So I did everything, and I realized that I want to be production, and that's what I took for the rest of the 3 years. I took to reproduction. Since, like I'm a type of Asian, I don't care. Age is just a number. I just don't get embarrassed. Once again, if the audio and everything is good, and don't forget, before I continue, I want to reset the room quickly. Is you're part of the replay crew, don't forget to hit like, comments, and all those stuff. Well, anyways, let me continue. So I went to the vocational school and I picked TV production. And I'm a 70 kid. So everything was totally different in today's world. So that's why I'm retraining myself, because not a skill that I learned is zero, zilch, nothing is there. So therefore, that's what happens. I took TV production, and we learned the skills of camera and all that, but it was big cameras, And to edit, it was like a shift stick, like you're driving a manual car, like boom, 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 like this, boom, 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 left, right. You know what I'm saying? First gear. So it was like that. So totally. I mean, I love the concept, and we learn how to be in camera and stuff like that, and be cool and more personal. But I didn't did that for a lot of years. So therefore, I was like, well, how to retrain myself when I came back to YouTube because it was a whole new world. So that's how I became a content creator. So it's a full circle because I'm doing it right now. And yes, I have the trial and tribulation. That's part of being a content creator. But I love being a content creator because I could express myself and reach a lot of people. And it's cool and it's humbling because you are not better than me. I'm not better than you. And yes, there's a lot of challenge and stuff like that. But the main story is why I can become a content creator because I love it. Oh, I went to college. I took one semester of content creation, but it wasn't practical to find a job right away. So I did it. So I want to backtrack because I missed one step. Let's go back. I'm going too fast. Stop, stop, stop. Let's go back to high school. While I was doing high school, I got an internship close to Fenway Park, around the vicinity. I was working in a studio. So what I was doing on the studio, I was just directing people when they do shoots. They'll give me like a script, and I'm like, well, this is gonna be done, and everybody look at it, the professional people, and then also they want the high school kid opinion. That was amazing. They're like, because one time I caught something and I let them know because constructive criticism. They're like, "Oh, thank you," and after that, they honor me that position. They're like, "Okay, you more than just bring me coffee, give me this, and that." They're like, "You're putting cables and stuff like that." No, we want your valid opinion. They did like a little over the course. They did two little commercials for mom and pop shops. So I was part of the crew. So I was just the critiquer, and I was not quite sure on the title. Then I went to college. I took one semester of TV production. I found that it was not practical, so I went into the realm of business, such as office business. It was specific. It wasn't a regular business course. So in office business, you learn how to be a manager, and you learn the critical skills for being office workers, such as Microsoft Suites. So I learned, PowerPoint and all that, and to do the formulas and all that. And I learned all those stuff, PowerPoint and Word and Excel. And then, I learned how to type. So, and then they teach you classes how to become a manager, how to work with irate people and stuff like that. So that's what I took for a major. On the community college, I did 98%. I didn't finish it, but that's another story. So I went back to school and I went to a institute. And from the institute, I got what you call it, a trade school. I went to the institute. So in the trade school, I went for computer administrator. I learned that. I did a little internship in school, and that's here and there because that's not part of content creation. But I went back to YouTube and I started working. Everything was a whole new world, a whole new world. I mean, no copyright, but I'm not a singer. I'm not American Idol. But it was a humble experience because I learned a lot. It teaches you how to be in front of the camera. We even did like a little newscast, and that was one of my projects and everything. And I, directed, and I also was the challenge because I was part of it. And each of us had to direct a little, either commercial or either something. I picked the news and current events, and that was wonderful. And that was my final project, and it was amazing because I was given direction, and I was the news anchor and asking questions, and I did it in the form of I did in the form like a talk show and news, but based on high school students, what you think about today's world and today's society at the current moment. And oh my God, my brother was lovely. And even how you have questions, just put them out there. Make sure you put the Q and colon, and then I'll answer your question. So that right there is much easier. So it was an amazing experience. I learned a lot. A vast majority, I was happy. And the students that we took it with, we had like half was English and half was Spanish. So I was not the only Spanish kid in high school. So that was an amazing experience. We all gathered, we all made skits. We learned how to they put us in front of the camera and they give us stuff to read, and you got to read it. So Hey Ted, thanks for coming in. Hey Goddess, thanks man, much appreciated people for coming in. And it was an amazing experience because they put you in front of the camera and they're like, read this. And then right there they critique you and right there the first draft you get a grade. And that grade's going that's grade, it's not your final grade, but you get 3 grades. So you gotta do it 3 times. And the first draft you do it and then you could come back the next day because it was a whole week on vocational school. So they'll put it right there. Here, read this. You got 20 minutes. You come back and you get in front of the camera, and that's you learn how to talk. That's the part that was trying to drill you with these drills that was doing. So that was part of your grade. But that amazing, I'll give you skills and stuff like that, and to talk just like I'm a role. So how can you be personable and relatable to the people and all that? And so that I'm glad that we, learned that. And that's just helped me a lot because even though it was in front of the camera, I've never been afraid of camera. And I don't know how to pronounce it, but an animate object, I think that's correct. I know it's an object, it's not here to kill me. Yes, if you're new to all this in content creation, yeah, you might think, oh my God, the camera and this and that. Look, I'm here producing and I'm here hitting the produce button. So, while everybody like, you got to go for it because if you don't practice, you don't get perfect. And that's part of content creation. And that's why I became a content creator because I was doing it since high school, since the 10th grade. So it's an amazing experience. We learned a lot. And some of us have internships. Some of them was unfortunate not to have it because they couldn't find internship for everybody. But I was lucky and I was happy. I got an opportunity to do a lot. And, I wish I kept up with it after college, but it was not practical to find a regular job on that industry. Not like today's world. You could learn biography and it's better. And, I spoke to my high school teacher like 4 years ago, or like 2017 or 16, and they're doing Adobe Premiere and all that in today's world. So it's much easier to become a content creator because you're learning the skills in school that is the skills that is out there on any social media platform. So it was an amazing experience, and I just don't doubt it. I mean, not doubt it, to call the correct term. I love it because it teaches me a lot. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, give me a second. I'm trying to see if I could put this over here. Give me a second. I'm trying to write something. Bear with me. Yeah, it's a wonderful experience. I don't know if I spelled this correctly, but that's what I'm doing. So yeah, so it was a wonderful, lovely experience. I said put the word invite if you want to get invited, and I would like to, if you get invited, the thing that I asked because I just want to pick a random. This is a dear topic to me, and I want the person to talk about why they became a content creator and talk about that subject and what they learned so far and stuff like that. What I learned with all this is not easy, but what you got to do is perseverance, and that's the word. I always look around and I always give myself affirmation and stuff like that. Every time I got a mirror and I walk by, I'm always saying, "Oh, I'm here. I'm grateful," and stuff like that. So, you know, so if you like to get invited, put the word invite. If you want to get invited, whatever it is. If it's not correct, it's not correct. Just typing on the fly, but that's what it is. And content creation is not easy. But even though, if you're going to start your journey in content creation, I would like to hear why you would like your content creation journey as it begin. Also, I'm going to throw it out there. A logo and banner has been done for Sharky, so you can check it out and stuff like that. And I want y'all to look at it because now it's just not a plain silhouette and just all the S of whatever it was on YouTube. So yeah, so getting back to the subject, content creation, you can learn a lot, and therefore you have multiple skills and stuff like that. And everybody knows you wear a lot of hats, so therefore it's good. So anyway, If you want to come in and discuss that, Sharky, it's open. Anybody else? Why you've been to content creation and what is your journey and how you. Give me a second. My glasses are dirty. Forgot to clean them. Oh well, it's fine. So yeah, that's what I see about content creation stuff like that. So let me go. Let me go over here. Yeah, make sure nobody. Any questions about anything that you want to know about me, about the content creation aspect of it? Y'all could go ahead. So yeah, it's very humbling experience and very learning experience, and I feel as though as a content creator, you got to learn a lot of skills, and the main skills is communication. Besides the technical skills, without you can have the best technical skills, but if you don't know how to communicate, like right now, I'm being personable, relatable. I'm not being robotic. I'm talking. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Miss E. And that's what I tell people. Sometimes you gotta, if you want to do this content creation and you want to better yourself for a better tomorrow, you gotta put yourself out there. I'm gonna point like this straight and go. You see that? And come back. That's the camera. That's an object. You don't need to be scared. If you like what you see, come on and rock and be part of my journey. If you like what you see, become a subscriber. And that's simple as that. You see how easy it is. I just feel it's very easy. Ted, get in here. I had never had the story of the journey into digital photography, but would love to hear you. But no, you did have a couple of years of experience of photography. That's still part of content creation. Hey, how you doing? Holla at your boy. Thanks for coming in, my brother. No, yeah, both of y'all could come. I mean, it don't matter. I mean, I would like to hear both of y'all. Even though you starting a new journey and a different era of content creation, um, shark fin is still valid. You know, I see you telling the beard, oh, bro, nah, I didn't have a chance to shave it. I'm not a beard guy. It's too much white. But last minute, I was all day out. But anyway, thanks anyway. Yeah, so getting back to the subject, let me take this out of the screen. As you gotta go, give me a second. Yeah, anyways, just put the word invite if you want to get invited. But content creation don't have to be in today's content creation world. If you've done it before, I would like to hear your experience. And I don't mean to call you all like that, Sharky, but you have a wonderful story. And Kimi and everybody else that want to be on camera or LaShawn, it doesn't matter. You know, just put the word invite and you get invited. So yeah. So anyway, getting back to the subject, that's how I became a content creator, and it was since high school. I was doing it because I went to a vocational school, and that's what I did for my vocational for 3 years, and I learned a lot. It was just a lovely experience. Excuse me, because it's hot in here. Yeah, I gotta get the AC to be honest. Geezer in the house, hey, mobile geezer. Perfect example. You're never too late to start your content creation. Mumble Geese is a certain age, and he's doing it. So there is no excuses. If you want to make it happen, you make it happen. Yes, the content creation journey is not easy. Sometimes you want to pull your hair, but at the end, it's rewarding because for me, I like to express myself and teach people in different areas and stuff like that, and hone your skill for a better tomorrow. That's my keyword. Marco Pepper Tech, want to get invited? I'll send you that invite right now. Give me a second, my brother. Come on, Ted and Sharky, calling you out right now. So I want you everybody to talk about the content creation, and once they finish hearing everybody, they get invited or anybody else. Then give me a second. I'm gonna send this to Michael Pepper. So if I look to the side, I'm looking at the actual computer. Oops. Be patient with me. See, find people. So yeah, content creation is a valuable thing because you learn a lot of skills, especially the word communication. See if I could find Michael Pepper. Oh, here it goes. Yeah, so yeah, content creation is a rewarding experience. Let me go back to the chat. Go back, sorry. Oh, Latrell, how you doing, my brother? Um, Kietu Technical, anybody want to get invited, put the word invited, and we'll be discussing the content creation, how you became a content creator and what got you to this and stuff like that. Let me go back if I missed anybody. Oh yeah, Latrell, you're welcome to come by too. Let me know, just put the word invite and I'll send the invite. So let me go back over here. Hey, thanks for coming in. And as far as content creation, I'm gonna give it advice. Just make sure you're improving all your skill 1% every time you do a video. So if you're not improving for a better tomorrow, then you just go back and talk to people, get your peers, talk to anybody. All these people rock. I don't know if I'm the right person for this type of topic after the stream. Okay, that's fine. I mean, if you feel like that, it's fine. So I'm gonna bring Michael Pepper Tech. Are you ready? Let me know. Okay, cool. And here's go. Let me fix this. I don't like this format.
Howdy.
Howdy. Yeah, so ooh, you putting me to shame. That background look very creamy and bokeh.
Well, I canceled my stream tonight. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, you said you was not gonna stream, but you want to stream, so
I I wasn't mentally ready to be prepared in time, and it's all about quality for me. So,
oh
I'll
yeah,
hop in
I
somebody
do.
else's stream who's ready and I can talk back and forth, but like to get on and well, you hop on here and like you're just talking by yourself to do that for an hour, which I almost always try to do an hour, except for the 1 week where I was late. Um, just wasn't mentally ready for it. Some personal
No,
stuff
that's
today,
fine.
so.
So this is as everybody know him already, Michael Pepper Tech. He's a wonderful human being, and discuss a little bit and give a background how you started content creation from the beginning, from colleges and everything, because you did content creation. I know you better than other people, if you don't mind. Like start where you started, not just now in YouTube. Go ahead, the floor is yours, my brother.
Oh, I can go back to, I mean, I graduated high school in 2008. I then proceeded to go to Lansing Community College. Originally, my degree was for criminal justice. I was in that for about 3 years, and I got into, and they have it's called the 3+1 program, where basically you go to a community college for 3 years, and then you can transfer over to their university center and get your basically a 4 year degree by going through another school. So I was gonna go through Fair State University and basically get my degree, and then I was going to go back and also get a degree in psychology, and I wanted to become a victims advocate for court cases and basically work with like children and victims of crime and people that like can't voice their own thing. But
Hmm.
that was 2010, 2011, and that's right around when the Michigan State Police, along with like federal government and a lot of states, basically started dropping funding for putting you through your schooling and everything as far as like in that major. And I was thinking about it and thinking about like, okay, what courses did I take? So I took some photography classes in high school, and then I had taken a photo 101 just intro class as like an extra credit, and I was like, well, what do I enjoy doing? If I'm going to end up with a degree that I'm not going to really be able to use for a job, what am I going to? So I switched over, went through the photo program, and went through that. Technically, I didn't end up with a degree in it. They call the term that they use for it is shoot, I'm gonna blank out on it. It's kind of like when you take coding classes, certification. You get a
And there you
certification in
go.
it because that's their term for a 2 year thing. Unless you go through and like I could have gone through and gotten, but at that point, I had taken so many classes that I should now I could go. Now I could qualify for 8 again and go back and probably. But like I was struggling completing some science classes like biology to be able to, which was
Well, yeah,
required
that's
for the
difficult.
degree. So after that, then I worked at different retail places, Target, Meijer, um, a local store. I worked at a couple factories, was doing different things. I got into content creation on YouTube in the midst of that because basically I have this fondness for technology, and I guess as everybody calls it, gear acquisition syndrome. And so if I was going to buy, if I was going to buy technology, I might as well talk about it, right? Might as well
Correct.
share and not just bother my family and my wife with my rants and discussions of technology.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what got me into it. And then also, um, like watching
Hey, Shay,
Eric
go ahead.
and watching Jay Will and watching these different creators and being like, I like what they're doing, but I also have like a different opinion on things. And so I started doing, and I was just using an iPhone 10 and a MacBook Pro 2014 at the time. And now I've moved all the way up
Yeah,
to,
I
I got
remember that.
regular camera and microphone and desktop that I built a few years ago that I'm streaming on. I have my MacBook that I use for editing. I still use an iPhone for recording a lot of videos just because the fact that I can set it up, record my face, and then flip it to the back camera and record hands like top down stuff easily. And the built-in microphones are pretty good as long as you don't have like a lot of noise around and aren't in a super
Mhm.
echoey environment. And I know how to adjust it just right and take that and put that out. It's good. Or I'll record with my camera and my microphone and pull my SD card out and then take the audio and use DaVinci Resolve to sync it up. Or one time I just used my iPhone mic because that's all I had with me. I had my camera and I had that and just recorded and sync it up, and it's it's gone from like me really being nervous in front of the camera to now, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Part of that I think was the Saturday Night Tech Fights that Tech King Mike did, and the confidence I got in that with like, and I was just really getting into that fight when I knocked
Yeah.
him out in the second round. But like, I want to do that again.
Yeah.
I hope he brings it back. I think
Yeah.
it's
I
an
hope we bring
awesome
it back.
thing. It's fun.
Yeah.
But like,
Excuse
that's
me.
kind of my journey into the tech space and stuff is like, and there's more into it as far as like why I started off or why I use Apple products besides like what I get out of it and besides just covering multitudes of technology so that I'm providing information no matter what, no matter if you're Android or iOS or Mac or Windows user is there. But like my grandpa was a huge fan of Apple computers. He had the iMac that was the one that looked like a half a ball shape on the bottom, and it had like the silver neck on it and I can't remember which. He had that and he had sticky notes all over the place of keyboard shortcuts and
Mhm.
all that stuff, and he was really into it. I have a tie from him somewhere that's got like a bunch of technology and stuff on it. Um,
Let me read this comment. So before we continue, I want to neglect the comments either. I still get a little nervous. I mean, if you nervous are good, I'm not saying they're not good because that's what gets you amped and excited. And and with that you try. And you're sitting in front of 3,000 people. Yeah. But the thing is, I got a question. You could answer this for me and you. I describe you as changing the tactic. Okay. One word that I describe you is challenging. And let me explain why. You're taking the narration of conversation and pushing to the next level and have people evoke an emotion and be like, oh, wait, he's flipping it. And now I'm thinking, and you're putting those topics out there and it's strong and you're challenging people and making them think. And as you make them think, and you got provoking question, not provoking as an insulting or bad or being ghetto or not, professionalism, because I've been to your live streams and all that, and I get people thinking, and people have said it in different numerous live stream. I like the way you're doing your style. You're doing a conversation, but also you're getting people out of their comfort. It's not just about okay, buying Apple 313. No, you more than that. You're evoking and talking to people and challenging them to think different ways. So the word for me is challenging.
That's accurate. I don't like talking about necessarily like what's in the device. Like in my recent coverage of stuff, you don't hear me talk about like the iPhone has the A15 Bionic in it or whatever. And when I do my iPad mini review coming up here, I might say like, hey, it has the same processor as my iPhone. So if you're looking at buying a device that maybe you don't want to buy an iPhone, you're an Android user, but you want to have access to some of the, I can recommend it because you still get access to these features and list off the features. But there's no like, I don't know, there's too much spec chasing. There's too much
Hey, computer solution. Go ahead,
where
continue.
like Rene Ritchie talks about the specs, but he also talks about like what it's useful for in a way. But to me, I'm like a tech nerd, but I like talking about how you use it more than what's in it, because what does that matter? Like if you can use it to do this and that, and like and what change, because here's the thing we have to remember too with a lot of it. If you're covering the software and somebody has like, let's say they have an older iPhone, and you go, well, you have to have the iPhone 13 to have this feature. Well, then they know, but that's not really that's like a software thing. And if a new device comes out and it's specific to that hardware, then mentioning it is important. But who cares about like, oh, it's got this processor and this much RAM and it can benchmark this and that. There's channels that do that. There's channels that do that really well. You have channels that cover all this stuff that run gaming tests and stuff. And what's cool about it is like, at first my thought on that is, well, that's not a realistic way of doing things, because if you think about it, people don't sit down and like run through Geekbench and then run through doing like rendering and then play games and this and that. They don't do things the way that they go through all these phases back to back to back like that. A lot of times people do one or the other, and the way that they test, but they test things the same way with every device, so it's a pretty equal comparison. So for me, that's, but the whole I don't only talk, oh, that was the other thing. So I might do a kind of self interview as part of my behind the minds thing that I'm working on.
Oh yes, I can't wait to get this started.
And mention this in there, but one of the things about I don't only talk tech, I live it, is the idea of like, how does, if you have this device, if you're going to buy it, what are some of the standout features, and how is that gonna affect your life versus like, and how do I use it? And so like, if you're like me, this is how it'll affect you. But I can't explain a device and a product in a way that I don't use it. I'm not going to force myself to game on something if I'm not a gamer, because it's not going to get a fair shake. I'm not going to force myself to, I mean, I could edit on it. I do edit on my phone, but I'm not going to like do a video on how well that does that, when that's not how I use it. And that's not how most people will use it. That's not how a lot. And there are channels that cover that, and they're great, and I'll recommend those channels to people. But if you're forcing yourself to do something, that's not you. So that's my other thing I would say.
Yeah, it's what is it called? It's not genuine, the correct terminology. So, and one thing that I agree, because what you say, a lot of people in my family with this device, and no matter what device it is, they just want to know how to use it. They're not technology savvy. Is it strong enough? If it do what my needs to me, is it throw decent picture? Is it throw excellent? Is it gonna last a couple of years? Longevity. That's what they care. They care about the usability, and throwing numbers and all that. Yes, there's a niche for that, and there's people for that. But if I know you want that, then I'll recommend you to the right channel for that. But like I like to tell people, just teach how to use the device. That's more useful for a lot of people because not everybody is into tech. Yeah, I call it the 1%. That's us. But really, in my family, I'll say 85%. They're not really full blown techie. So I agree with you.
And I'm not gonna. So I've thought about this and I've done this before and made this mistake before and regretted. Like somebody asked me about something in a comment, and so I made a video about it. But then the problem was I got people that came in and watched for that type of thing, but then it wasn't the type of like thing that I was gonna do consistently. So then you have people that unsubscribe or they don't watch a video again, so they get automatically unsubscribed and they don't get recommended, and that can affect like the way that YouTube recommends you. But so like if somebody were to say in one of my comments, okay, but how does it game? Or okay, but how does it compare to this or that? I would rather recommend them
Correct.
to a channel that covers that so that they get provided and have them not watch me, then have them think that they're going to get that subscribe and then be let down and like dislike it and leave negative comments, and maybe other people come on and see, or like they say to other people, hey, this person they did this video, but then the negative space around it. So being me is something that I've become more involved in and appreciative of and enjoyed and celebrate and love the fact that people will tease me about my voice, but also like Easy has been talking about watching my stuff and enjoying it, and that's like means a lot to
Hmm.
me,
Yeah, it does.
and like crazy when people watch your stuff that you don't realize it, and that kind of drives the direction of where you go. But like to me,
Hmm.
whether it's Easy with his, what is he at? I'm gonna look at. I can't remember the exact
He's
number.
close to 60,000.
Close to 60,000. I think he's at like 58,006 subscribers. Or it's somebody that doesn't have any subscribers is watching. That's all a blessing to me. And like if I do a live stream and there's one person watching, or there's 11, 12 people watching, versus when I see other people live streaming that have 50, those people that are sitting there with me, that's a blessing to me that anybody's watching. If zero are
Amen to
watching,
that,
I'll
brother. Amen.
talk because I know people will watch it later. People will come across it.
Mhm.
There's people that appreciate the discussion and the way that I go through things, and yeah, for me it's been difficult because through this journey I've discovered that a little bit personal side of things. Recently, I have a form of adult, like I'm on the autism spectrum, and like ADHD sort of thing. So when I talk through things a lot, that's my way of processing through things. So, um, but what's cool is that I can do that, and that people will sit and listen, and people will appreciate it. So that's awesome to me, and you can share your experience and journey and find like-minded people, and like I could just sit at home and talk to people about stuff, but um
It's not the same.
and you can reach out if you have issues with, like, if you're not an extremely social person. um like I've I've become extremely, I get overwhelmed and anxious with being out in groups of people, and
I tried them there.
becoming more with that. But um what's crazy to me is just enjoying interacting with people and getting to know people, and like now I'm seeing people that are
Mm.
coming into the space.
Oops, right here. Good point. Go ahead, continue.
Now I see, people that are doing this, that are coming into the space, that are like newer creators, that are in a position where I was, a couple years ago, and they're doing awesome. And like when I compliment them or share their stuff, they're extremely appreciative. And I never would have, I don't have the numbers necessarily of like, but that's crazy to me to have people look at what I do and be like, thanks for sharing, it means a lot. When I look at them and they just started and have like 5 times the subs I have and all this stuff. But that's
Mm-hmm.
the amazing thing about this. For the most part, a lot of people, when they look at each other, that number doesn't mean anything, really. Not not to us. Maybe to some
You
of the
know why?
businesses and some of the stuff it does, but like
It's all about you. This. Go ahead.
so it's insane to me, and it's awesome to see. Like I posted a video about T-Mobile's new plans, and I need to do a second video for the GSM side, but this was like their Verizon side of things, and got a decent number of views and stuff on it for compared to things lately. And what's crazy to me is that
Oh wow.
that it got that when I'm not a network channel. I'm not like Sneed Mobile Tech or Stetson or a number of the people that are out there that do this stuff. But you post about something that I discovered because I use the service and it's part of my life on things, and and sometimes my videos are all over the place with the categories and people talk about niching down, and to me, I would love to do it, but the problem with that is like then I get into there's not one particular thing or aspect of technology that I necessarily enjoy enough to do that. And if I did, I feel like it would ruin the experience. So I just like
Yeah,
talking
you're
about
right. Mm-hmm.
tech as I use it, tech as I experience it, you know, um, new things that I've discovered, fun stuff. My Galaxy Watch I checked it earlier today, and then I checked
Mm-hmm.
it like 20 minutes ago, and I finally got the Google Assistant on it. And
Oh,
there's
that's
things I've
cool.
discovered with like how to set it up so I can hold the button to trigger it. Um, it can control my lights, it can answer questions, but it doesn't. They don't let it open apps. Like I can't. Like if I ask it for heart rate, it doesn't open the heart rate monitoring app. If I ask it for the weather, it will just put the weather like the the Google Weather inside the app, that interface.
Oh, ooh,
It
that's
doesn't
nice.
have the same like Bixby has a more in-depth, but Bixby sucks at like she wants me to give my location. So if I ask like the weather and like let's say I'm by Lansing and I want to know the weather, she's going to be like for what location, and then I'll have to ask her again, what's the weather like
Oh yeah,
for
I got
Lansing,
you.
Michigan or wherever
Yeah,
so
and
when I'm
you,
at home and I just want to ask the weather for here, I don't want to have to keep telling it for where I live, and that but with this it just picked it up right away. I didn't even
yeah.
have location turned on and it's done it because it's grabbing.
And I don't know if you agree with this, because I told you earlier that I described one word, and I said challenge. And for me, look at different. My word that I describe myself, because I don't know if you're gonna agree with this. But since you didn't come up with one, I'll say perseverance, because I left you two and I came back. And I'm gonna say 90% it was because you talked to me one day and we talked in the phone and you just opened my eyes and you ruffled me and you say, look, if you love it so much, why are you changing yourself? You only got one life to live. You might as well make the best out of it. Since that day, and what's the word you say? Promise me that I'm going to interview you the first time you come back. And that's why I'm back. And I'm so grateful for that because you opened my eyes to a lot. We only live once. We might as well make the best of it. And since that day, I bow. Not because of you and anybody else, I own it to myself because he made a good point. You only live once and you don't get second chances after you're dead. So therefore, I say I must go for it. And the word that I describe myself is perseverance. Because look, I'm live streaming the most as I can. Some people will be like, oh, that's not enough. You don't do enough videos. But I'm producing. What are you doing? You're not hitting publish. So not to throw anybody on the bus, but there's come the naysayers, the critics, and all that. But then they don't produce a video and they want to help you. They don't know what is content creation. I love this for the passion. I love teaching people about how to better yourself and leverage yourself for a better tomorrow on the mobile side. Look, You can make money with this. You can have affiliated links. You can have a lot of stuff and put them there and do a lot of. You could do video. I done a video and I got paid $200 or $300. So on the phone, and it was iMovie. So there's a lot of possibility and endless. It's all about your drive and willingness. That's all I'm saying. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would say that too.
Mhm.
Perseverance, like the fact that you understand like, and what I don't get is when is I do like I'm critical of. I'll say it right now. There are channels out there that literally talk about how to make money on YouTube and like this and like what you should and shouldn't do, but they've never had another channel. That's like they started off doing that, and there's no. And I get like maybe if like I know some of them have worked with other channels like in the background, and I get that, but like there are certain channels that I just can't watch because that's all they do, and there's no. So like, how am I supposed to believe that you know the route to success if you've never? And then that comes down to, even if you have, if you're not currently doing it, things change so dramatically. So to me, like if somebody was trying to tell me like how to grow a YouTube channel, but they're not trying to do it themselves, like they're not posting videos or live streaming or like trying to appeal to people or doing what they, going through and learning things and then using that experience to help other people. If they're just making videos from like basically what you can find from somebody else or what they experienced in the past, that's not going to relate to today. And that's the struggle I have with like some of these. They're talking about like, oh, this is how you need to make a thumbnail and this and that. It's like, yeah, for you, for when you were doing that or when you were helping other channels, but that's the like the issue I have with some of that versus like vidIQ. They work with people constantly, so they know
Correct.
stuff based on like current algorithm. TubeBuddy is the same way, but like there's certain channels out there that they how are you going to tell me that like this is what I need to do when you don't, and I'm supposed to just um like trust you, and there's certain, and I can't watch certain channels, and I won't say any names, but there's like certain channels that come off very car salesmanship like to
Mhm.
me, but almost worse. It's almost like if you've never driven a car in your, like let's say you'd never driven an electric vehicle in your life, and then you tried to work for Tesla and sell EVs, or you've never
Yep.
driven a car and you're trying to sell me
Cool. Yeah.
like this is some of this stuff that just comes up. It's very, and it works because people will listen. And the thing is, if you listen to what they say and you fail at it, there's no recourse for them. And even if you can, and even if everybody doesn't get, not everybody is gonna be together to say like this doesn't work. So there's no. To me, it's almost like a Ponzi scheme sort of thing with some of these, where like the idea of they can just say that this works, but even if it doesn't, there's no recourse because there's no proof of whether it did or not. And if enough people it work, if it works for, let's say 100 people, but 900 people it doesn't work for, the 100 people will be way louder than the 900. And this is some of the issues I have with like some types of, because there's no, but like when
Mhm.
it comes to like tech content, for example, when you show how to do something, there's proof there. When you talk about
Mhm.
your experience with a product, you're doing a similar thing, but you're also quite often showing, like, for example, if I'm covering battery life,
Excuse me,
I'm gonna
pardon.
pop up and show charts of the battery life that I had usually. Now, eventually, if you build a rapport, if you build a connection, if I got to the point where
Mhm.
like I'm doing this often enough, I could sit down in front of the camera and like, let's say, I don't know, TCL sends me a phone and I'm reviewing the TCL 30 Pro
Mhm.
or whatever, and I'm talking about battery life and I'm talking about cameras and I show pictures because obviously that's something that's necessary. But like I'm talking about battery life and I don't pop up a chart. Well, maybe I've already developed enough trust amongst the community, amongst the viewers,
Oh yeah,
amongst
correct.
people that don't need to do that. But the bad part about that is you have new people coming in that have never watched you before, which is um, a lot of people have that. you're not going to have their trust right away. So there's a problem with that. So one of the things I've realized is that I need to get better at every video, but I also need to record every video as though the person coming in doesn't know me and that I provide enough
Love
information.
it. Amen to that.
Because otherwise you're never going to gain anybody new. You're just going to be
Mhm.
pitching to people that are already there. It's like by example, if Google wants to set, like, let's say Google wants to compete with, well, of course it's going to do it. My phone just triggered. Google wants to compete and sell the Pixel with, they want to compete with other companies. They need to not just market based on what they know current Pixel users enjoy and like get them to upgrade, right? Same thing with like Apple with iPhone, why they try to provide services, why they try to like make them available on non-Apple devices, why they try to do different things. Samsung, why they're, you know, pitching to different, why these companies market and try to draw in and show like comparative to the fact that they were like year over year, the Mac community is, the number of people buying Macs has increased the last couple years, and like a lot of times people's first Mac is like the M1 series because they're pitching to a, we need to do the same thing because our video is a
Correct.
product of our, of what we create. And so if I come on here, and that's the other thing, like
Mhm.
for example with you, you've had a couple times where you struggled, right? Where
Correct.
like now a lot of people are understanding on that, but like if I sat down and I've never seen your channel before and this is recommended to me, if you don't like kind of recover from that or explain through it or get, or you know, continue on and show the professionalism, if you just like were to quit or you let it continue or you don't try to fix it or you don't kind of put something in there to show the effort, like that you want me to be here and show value to me, I'm just gonna leave and I'll never come back.
Yeah, that's true. And also, I wanted to say before we continue, I want to a quick reset. If you're part of the Recreate crew, don't forget to like, comment, and thanks. I'm not leaving yet. I'm not done. I'm gonna stay here half an hour more. And anybody got questions? In case I got half an hour. If you would like to get invited, you could put the word invite, and I could talk about your journey. But don't do it too late after like 8:20 because at 8:30 is the cutoff line, and I'm gonna overdo it. But also, this one thing that I like that you said, it's all just speaking to the right audience and the newcomers, and not everybody think like that because my mom don't care about 855 or 88. She just want to know if the phone works, and that's if when people fail in that part. And then I'm saying that they don't fail. There's an audience for everybody, but you got to see what type of channel you want. Because the techies, they're looking for the information. They're already techies. They could find it and they could read it. So sometimes that's why I don't. I talk about the internals, but to certain point. But I also like how to smartphone, how to use the phone, and that's what I like about it. Hey, Silva, and and this is like a full circle because last time we was talking about content creation, and you're back on. So I love that. It's like a continuation. Go ahead, Michael.
Also,
Hmm.
one of the things that changed over, of course, if I can get it to, over time was the way that I made my, that a way that
I
I
love
have
that.
my, the way that I have my channel, that art there,
I
and
love
the,
the art.
I like the new stuff, but like making sure it works well on mobile. And then
Mhm.
obviously this isn't a very good because this is showing everything. So let me go to video so you can see. Um, why is that have, that has live in there too? Okay, let me get to
Oh yeah, it's mixed. It's both.
yeah, it's mixed, but like trying to keep my thumbnails somewhat consistent with color. So like you see with my
Mhm.
macro one there, I have the colors behind it, blue and then big white and like the same kind of font, and trying to do some of
Mhm.
the consistent stuff there. Font, you know, blue color, having fun with stuff. Um, Lots of live in there mixed. There we go. Now you can see how those thumbnails are all very
Yeah,
similar. Um,
consistency.
Consistency in color and
Hmm.
format and all that. But man, 763 subscribers, 224 videos. Obviously, that includes like 100 and some live streams, or that includes like no, because
How
I
much you have?
actually took out some live streams at one point so that they weren't. So I think probably I'm gonna say maybe 150 of those are regular, and then the rest are live streams. Last I counted, that's what I was
Well,
approaching.
so say it loud. Bye bye, Luis, because you're gonna surpass me. But I'm happy. That's what it matters. I can eat, you can eat. There's an audience for everybody. And I gained a couple of subscribers too. So like I tell people, if you like what you see from us, subscribe. If you're gonna be a gold subscriber, no. That's my I don't say like subscribe. I change that. If you like what you see, become a member, subscribe, whatever is the situation.
YouTube.com/C/Michael Pepper Tech Talk. That's
There
what
you
mine
go.
is still under. And also at Michael Pepper Tech on, at Michael Pepper TT on.
What up,
Twitter.
BG? Go ahead.
Um, is my is my thing. Oh, and people, we're not going away. We're still here.
Yeah, we're still here.
People are confused for a minute.
Oh no, my apologies. We're gonna stay here
We're
till eight
just
thirty.
going through the shouting out our stuff and all that, and it's been
Yeah.
pretty interesting to see, like, learning what topics when I cover certain things, what people come and watch, and then I've had like
Mhm.
people that are just now finding some of my older. Oh, okay, you don't need to put the /C anymore for the channel
No, you don't.
URL. Oh, okay. Yeah, because when I search mine and when I copy and paste it, it still shows that. But I guess if you do it without it, it still works. Okay, that's nice to
Correct.
know.
But because of that P address and numbers, you're good with networking. So, so yeah, I mean, to be the true, I mean, also, and advice that you know about this, I also tell people, I'm always advocating, and even I said this before people, hold on, before I continue, I want to say hi quick. Hey, Jason C. Anyway, let me get back to the subject. So I tell people I'm an advocate of what you may call upgrade your skills because people think it's all about the what you may call it. They think, oh, I need the best and greatest and latest. If you're beginning and you don't have the skills, no matter what you put do, it's still gonna be potato. Because a person came to me and say, I bought the A7 III Sony, and they're like, and they're not content creator yet. And they're like, why my videos are whack? Is this supposed to be the greatest thing since sliced bread? All I say, you don't have the skills yet. Once you learn the skills, then you produce better videos. And they looked at me, oh, you saying I'm soft? Your equipment, it does not make you work. With less equipment, that's when you learn the most and you try. And I'm not saying buy cheap equipment that broke and spend more money. That's not it, you know? Let me get back over here to the comments. So yeah, it does that, but it don't need. Okay, I already read that. So yeah, you get my point. So that's what people seem to miss the point. Look at the camera. Your skills is the most important thing. Your storytelling and stuff like that, and then you upgrade. By having less skills, you forced to learn your equipment better, and then become better. When you get your next one, you know what you're doing.
Um,
Let me send
I-
that invite to Charky while you
I'll
talk.
do
Go
it.
ahead.
I already have Twitter open if you want
Okay,
me
cool.
to.
Thank you. I appreciate you for that. So yeah, so that's what I tell people. Content creation. If you're new to content creator, but you did photography many years ago, it still counts. You create it. You still got the skills. It's just that now you're in a different form and medium of lifetime that everything's new. My content creation when I did in high school is different because I was born in the '70s. So therefore, you know how we used to edit with a big ass tape. I think it was, and then we had a joystick, and we go like you driving 5 speed, and you got to go back and forth and stuff like that. So RGB and 4K cameras are most important things. Um, I seen channels just talking and not caring too much about the quality and having storytelling. They got millions and millions and millions.
I will say
I
the
mean,
only
it
reason
doesn't
I
matter.
have like the pinkish lights behind me, purple light, is because if I had the white lights behind me, it would be too bright in here for me, and as like the light goes down, I don't want my camera to change, and then I have the lights
Okay.
in front of me, and so it's because I'm looking at the screen a lot, I don't want bright white light coming from behind and affecting things. Plus it just looks nice and it helps the camera, because the thing and The other thing that people don't realize, and I had to adjust the lights back there so that they're out of frame, the tops, is the human eye is more attracted to the brightest part of the scene. So if I'm in the
Correct.
middle and everything behind me is dark, it's the
Let
optimal.
them know. Teach them, and school them.
It's the
That's a good point. I
optimal.
never thought of that.
It's the optimal thing.
Did I send the link correctly to Sharky Finn? Let me go over here. Let me
I
look for Chuck. If you go ahead, oh, you did
I
already. Never mind.
yeah, I sent it because
Okay. So let me continue talking. So yeah, and also
LaShawn.
about
Hold up, LaShawn says he's a terrible user. No, he isn't. He's
wait a minute. His editing skills is like somebody been doing it for years. So you know what? I'm gonna do like school. I'm gonna put you on timeout if you keep doing that bad talking.
that's
Yeah,
I
no,
gotta
he's good.
say
He's great at editing.
that statement right there was trash.
Trash, my brother. I gotta make it fun. No, yeah, and also like me and you doing, we're connecting, we're communicating, also networking with others. Because some other people, you become close to them, they'll be like, Lewis, can I talk to you? That was garbage, and I don't mind, not in a rude way. I mean, if I don't know you, you could give me consulting question, but I already know you. You could talk to me like that. I'll be like, okay, Michael, let's talk. Break it down like a crossword puzzle. What I did wrong. What can I improve? I don't mind, you know.
Break it
Yeah,
down like
holla
a
at your boy.
crossword puzzle.
Yeah, holla at your boy. I'm gonna do like they did in elementary school in Puerto Rico. Get the ruler and then spank you. No, 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 no. You're good, creator. You know. But yeah, no, all of us are creators. If you feel that you like somebody over here, look at their channel, subscribe. Everybody, I'll say about 98% of this or 100, who knows, they are creators. You know what I mean? So, and I agree with you because, and all this content creation, you could do it, but if you don't got audience and people behind you, oh, he joined and stuff like that. Let me know when you're ready. Go like this, Sharky. Okay, cool. Let me bring Sharky before we continue talking. Here goes Shark Fin, and Shark Fin gonna tell you a story before he start about the graphic, because I'm hyper with that. I want him to start with that. Go ahead. Okay, there you go.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
And you could
Can
talk
you
about your logo. Yeah,
can
I could hear you.
no, can you hear me okay? Okay. So, what was the last thing you said, Louis? Sorry.
I'll give it a background of who you are, and then talk about your logo and stuff like that. Because I'm already hype up of that, so I want people to connect.
No, fair enough. Well, I'm Shark FinTech. My real name is Mark. For anyone who doesn't know, yeah, I'm working on getting content. Hopefully, as early as this week on a uh, on finance and fintech and personal tech channel, hence the name Shark FinTech. So it has my nickname plus those other three things. It's all in one fell swoop, and encapsulates all of it. So, and thanks to Lewis. We got a banner on YouTube, banner and logo on YouTube, and then as you can see in the chat, and then now a banner, and I put the same banner on Twitter. So it's really fantastic, and thanks again, Lewis. It's just I need to get to those point myself where I get better Canvas skills or whatever. But and we've been working. I think you started last fall, if I'm not mistaken, right? We came up with the concept last fall.
Yeah, correct.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah. And give or take, maybe it was a little later, but and it's just time and tide or whatever. But I think most people know my situation with the forced renovations on my building and my condo unit individually. So been source of a lot of frustration and delays, but I'm finally ready now, and we got that on there largely thanks to you. I came up with the line, where finance and tech intersect as my slogan. I love it. But the actual graphics are Lewis, and did a really nice job. I think it looks great. I like how it's simple, and you just see the dorsal fin, it just the colors are good. I think simpler is often better, right? Especially with YouTube, but probably in general, right? With a lot of things in content creation or even in life in general, right?
So can you give a background of your content creation? Because you had done it in the past, so that's what I want to get to people to get to know you better. So how you started, how you became to this point.
Sure, sure. It may have some overlap with yours and Michael's as well, but that's okay. I mean, we all have these interesting
Mhm.
beginnings, right? So I know, I think I've told you the story, Lewis, but for everyone else, absolutely. So I go way, way back. A, because I'm a little bit old, and B, it just, I guess you could say I got lucky. So we're going to go back to like the late 70s. I was still a wee lad, but the junior high school I went to, I guess we were very fortunate at that time that they had the budget where they actually had a TV studio. Very, very rare, I think, even today, for to be have that type of financial endowment where they were, able to pull that off. I mean, there were two cameras. There was a full slate of editing room, and they also had a computer. They had a digital. I don't know, Michael, you might have heard of this. A prehistoric by today's standards digital deck writer. The company's no longer in business. They were based in Western Mass, where I'm from. But anyway, so we were really getting that much into coding. But anyway, long story short, to cut to the chase of why it's important, why all this is important for me, is because I've all, me, I'm in reading and writing, a lot of my main history, a lot of other things I've always been interested in. Later years became, develop more into finance, right? And into tech. But at that time, they were looking for, we had with the purpose of the TV study, there was a closed circuit camera system. Every home room between half an hour each morning got to see the closed circuit TV. So the closed circuit the TVs were in every room through a closed circuit system. So they aired content every morning for, I think, 15, like half an hour, close to half an hour. And I don't know. I just started hanging around as I made more friends. It was kind of like we were all from different middle schools, and I started to make friends. I think it was probably eighth grade, somewhere around there, early on. And someone said, "Why don't you do one? You're always talking about history and all this other stuff, right? Why don't you do something with it?" And I said, "Okay." And I thought of the idea, and I came up with my own show called History Quiz. Really simple. I came up with what I thought. Don't forget, Wikipedia and Google wasn't on devices back then, didn't exist at all, let alone on devices in your hands, right? Phones or tablets. So kids would actually have to, if they didn't know the answer to the question, they would actually had to, oh my God, what a concept. They would have had to go to the library and open a book, right? So I put out a question every week with a small prize. Whoever got it right first got the prize. We checked the little box, raffle box every day or whatever. And I had a lot of help. I'm going to be honest, as I have a lot of help from, you, Lewis and Michael, and so many great people now with YouTube, but I wasn't, I hosted it a couple times, so you do get that camera one, camera two, make sure you smile, no broccoli in your teeth, whatever, but half the time there was a young lady who did it for me about half the time, and she was great. She was like Vanessa, what's the Vanna White type personality, hey, so, but anyway, and I just did second camera on the graphics, and then I helped editing that, and anyway, it was a blast. And that was really my first, it went on for, I think I did it a whole nother year into
Wow.
ninth grade. So yeah, that was kind of really my first experience that kind of maybe in some ways laid a seed, right? Plant a little seed and see if you have some sprouting growth from it, So then fast forward years later, as you and a lot of people know at this point, I came up through Switchtown, came up through and eventually got into, once I started my career after college, was in print journalism, and from there, basically, publishing in journalism, and went into finance, right, for the last 20 plus years, and a little of my own investing and trading. So it wasn't until I've been watching YouTube since it started in 05 or 06, right?
But you also, sorry to interrupt you, you also mess with camera, you told me. So I don't know if we're going to talk about
Yeah,
that. Actually,
thanks. I forgot about that
that's a
whole
lot of
part. Yeah,
content
yeah.
creation.
Thank you. Let's back. So it's funny you mentioned that. I think it was around the same time I was doing the history show back in junior high. My dad helped, I think, much like Michael and others, helped inspire me into photography. he had a rangefinder, then he went to SLRs. This is old film, analog. Editing for us was burning and dodging, right, Michael? And
8x10s, 4x5s.
yeah, exactly. But
If you
and
really
it was,
want into silver slides. I'm
yeah.
assuming that that was, you know, that was
Yeah, we were
part of
just
it.
doing 35, but yeah, we didn't quite get an Ansel Adams like
Same
stuff. What
thing.
do
I mean, it's the
Yeah, yeah,
same basic technology. It's just improved to
exactly. Very
more
true.
portability.
Very true. Very true.
It's like
So
the digital deck. However they called it, were the big discs that like, and then later you had CDs and DVDs that were kind, it was kind of the same idea, right? They predated,
Okay.
but same concept,
right,
right?
right,
35
exactly.
millimeter is just an expanded, and instead of multiple exposures for different well, now they get called channels, red, green, and
Right.
blue, or whatever you had. Was it green, blue, and yellow, and well, some manufacturers had some weird things they did with film, but that stuff. So
Yep. No,
Yeah.
very true. So
Go ahead, Chucky.
So yeah, but yeah, that's basically what it was. It kind of inspired. I took a nature photography course, and then I took at least one or two in high school, and then a couple photojournalism in college, just for like a couple courses. I was still kind of more overbitten by the writing bug, but yeah, I really did enjoy it. So I guess the YouTube channel, after years of watching YouTube, was like in the last couple of years, and then people just start same thing. People started saying, much like they did back in junior high, hey, why don't you always talking about stuff? Why don't you, whether it's finance or tech or whatever it is, why don't you put content on your own? We all have channels technically if you have an ID, right? But why don't you create content for a channel? And now the technology has finally caught up. In terms of phones and tablets and what have you. You don't have to have the gear acquisition syndrome, the gas we all talk about, where you have to have a big, expensive, red type camera or anything even close to even a DSLR to start a YouTube channel, right? You don't have to have the fanciest, most expensive mics or headphones or any of it, right? It's really is and should be about, to my mind, about the storytelling, right? You have some value you want to add to bring to an audience, and you want to tell a story, right? And that's really the crux of it. So for me, it's like bringing, like so many other people, it's bringing all those disparate things together, of the writing, the photography, and my knowledge and experience of what I've been doing for 20 plus years, and including tech and fintech, right? And putting it out there. So yeah, that's basically my journey with it. So
have a good evening, Miss E. Thanks for joining us. Hope you have a good week as well.
Yeah, go ahead, continue, guys, because I'm doing something quick.
Sure.
I just wanted to make sure I saw her pop in there. I was like, that's the other thing that it's hard to shut off sometimes. Like when I'm in other people's streams, I want to. Yeah.
Yep.
I was going to make a joke when I first saw you come on here. I was like, Shark Fin Tech is wearing a salmon colored shirt.
That's weird.
It's not really. Red. It's kind of peach.
It's actually red, but close enough. Yeah, I like red. It. Yeah. But no, it's really interesting. I love what you guys have been dropping. The gyms you've been dropping already, and I just love this community. I know that sounds almost like a little bit, I don't know, corny, self-serving, whatever to some people, or cliche, but it's truly how I feel. I'm gonna make this. I shot my introductory video, and I'm gonna try to get it out this week. And I'm gonna shout that sentiment out proudly in the description. That it's Lewis, it's Michael, it's the Fantastic Five, it's a couple other friends of mine who literally I wouldn't be doing that. I wouldn't have as much as I looking forward to doing it. Yeah, sometimes you just need that extra little nudge, push, like Lewis, you were talking about earlier with your interaction with Michael last year, whatever it was, right? That just keeps you on track, keeps you focused, and say, yeah, you know what, me too, I can do this too,
Before I want to share your logo and all that and show people. You could keep talking while I do that.
Sure. So
one thing about community, I don't mean to interrupt you, but one thing I just remembered that actually got me into this was the Facebook community that Kevin Breeze did for phones and stuff, because people kept asking questions. and I kept answering because like nobody else would answer or really knew the answer, and I
Wow.
got into it. And so he actually said like thanks to me
There
about
you
it. And
go.
when
Yeah.
I was doing the interviews, he was one of my early on guests because of that connection. So that's actually what got me
Wow.
into YouTube, was like, well, if I'm going to answer all these people's questions, I might as well make videos on it. And that's actually kind of what,
Yeah.
like, rather than sitting and commenting the same thing on everybody's, I might as well just make a
Right.
video, and then people can
Mhm.
hopefully find it and play off from that. And same thing with other communities sometimes, and I don't feel bad, like, hey, if somebody has a question nobody's answered, take advantage of that. Use those comments that like you come across in somebody else's video to make a
Yeah.
video. My top viewed
So
video is because of that. Like, this is what gets community and connection, is take advantage of it. That's
Absolutely.
awesome, by the way.
so let me explain
Thank you.
my creation. This is what I come with it, and what I did is shark fin. So I got the fin. So the name. So I thought about it. So I say the shark is black, most of it. What and tech because the water is blue. So that's what I came with it. And the slogan was shark fin, and I did the logo and everything. So I did everything through Canva. So let me correct that. And it was not easy, but I came with this. So I mean, we did the best we could. It come with both conclusion, and so far I'm getting good reviews about this. It warms my heart. Even in Clubhouse, everybody was like, "Wow, you did yourself." Not to throw smoke at me. I'm just new to all this, and I'm
Yeah.
glad by doing Sharky, it opened many doors because I was struggling doing graphic, and as soon as I did this one, a lot of stuff clicked, and that's what I want to say. Thanks to him because I him it opened a new door of knowledge. I said, wait a minute, I could do this angle and this and that, and I could put it in the middle, so it'd be good on actual mobile and stuff like that. So everybody, welcome to the feedback. Y'all could put the feedback on Michael Paper. Anybody else want to talk about it? Go ahead. So
I have
the
one
No,
floor.
thing.
for
I have
start. Thank you, Lewis. Just to be clear,
Yeah.
but I love the mutual, the feedback on it, and love and support, and
Yeah. You
yeah,
gotta subscribe.
yeah, and it's funny. Oh, awesome. Thank you, George. And it's just, yeah, when the slogan, even the slogan, I was walking, I think I told you, Lewis, I was walking in my bedroom one night, and it just, it's an inspiration. I've heard Paul McCartney talk about songwriting like this. It's not just singing in the shower. It just comes to you, right? And anyone who
Yeah,
has that
yeah.
kind of inspiration. And that's what it was. I was walking, I think, either in and out of my bedroom one night a few months ago, just a couple months ago, whatever. And I was like, oh yeah, because that's what I'm doing, right? It's like
Mhm.
the way I've always seen it, tech needs finance, and finance needs tech, right? They're mutually dependent on
Hopefully
each
you.
other. Yeah, and Wall, and I like to say it's where Wall Street and Silicon Valley are going to intersect with Main Street. So there it is, where they intersect. Boom.
Yeah,
And
go
but
ahead. I would like to
okay,
hear Michael's opinion, if you don't
yeah,
mind, Sharky.
The one thing I would say,
Hmm.
um, for me, and I get why you did it, but the in the main logo, even at the big size, and then looking at it on the small size, tech is hard to read in the blue.
yeah,
So I
no,
see the shark fin, but the tech doesn't stick out in the logo.
yep,
Hmm.
On your
So,
channel, it's
mhm.
fine, but like it's hard to. And then the other thing that I think about with that, and it was partially why I changed the tint of blue with my background. You'll actually notice it got a little darker. Is I had somebody made a comment that well, one person had an issue with red, but there's people that have such a weird thing using, and it makes sense if you use full like positive color of like red, green, or blue, that's something they tell you to stay away from, because there's people that have problems visually seeing it,
uh,
Mhm.
or other people it makes them nauseous. Now blue is not unlikely, but like the red, and of course green makes sense because
Mhm.
it's just our eyes are twice as sensitive to green as they are red and
So,
blue.
so you think
But
they should have used?
I would just make it all black in the logo at least, um,
Okay.
so that the text is easy to read.
yeah, no, thanks.
Maybe with your background, like I think it's fine having the tech in blue. The only thing I thought about would be like have Sharkfin tech all be black, and have like where finance and tech intersect. You could have like a um Yeah, you can give it a border too, so you can add a
Yeah.
stroke
Yeah.
to it, like a
There'll
slight.
be some. Lewis and I talked about this. There'll be some tweaking. We may even just do under the like for the logo, just mainly make the dorsal fin bigger and raise it up a bit, and just do like a acronym SFT below that, like in either in black or a different color, a non-bluish color
For the logo.
or something. Yeah, either way,
For the
either way.
avatar.
There's tons of room to tweak it.
For
The
the-
idea was to get something on since I'm coming out with my first video, and we're pretty happy with this for now. I love it overall, but that's not to say it's set in stone. It's not open to tweaking in the future. Sure,
Here we go. Let me see if I could get it. It's not coming up. Huh? I'm trying to get this coming up. There you go. You can read that. So if you gave the blue a border, I think it should show up better. Oh, cool.
So a border around the whole banner, the whole box, or
No, he's saying give the blue a border, or maybe I could switch the blue could be a darker blue, or I could put it
oh,
black.
I see.
Yeah, give it like a border and make it stand out.
Yeah,
Tech,
either way. Yeah, yep. Thanks.
Yeah, either way, it's a starting, and I'm happy that a lot of people like it. I mean, and people got different opinion and mix, so it's fine because it's all in the learning process. So it's
Right.
called construction criticism. So
Right.
yeah.
Louis,
that
you
was-
and
the
I.
only reason that
Oh, good. Sir.
The only reason I did that blue because I was thinking about water, but maybe it's too light. Maybe a dark blue. Who knows? It's up to you because actually it's your banner. It's not mine. I'm just a helper.
No, I really like that. I think the logo maybe will tweak, but no rush. No, I was just gonna say. So Lewis and I were part of club. What was it? A couple clubhouse rooms, Lewis, where they were doing banner. So it was perfect timing, like for banner and logo.
Let me
What was it? Yeah, Friday or Saturday night or whatever it was for banner and logo audits, and then I think a thumbnail audit on Anthony's stream last night. And like you said, I mean, unless someone, I mean, even people who have degrees in design and art design, right, graphic design, it's still a little bit subjective, right? It's not necessarily objective, and there could be open. It's open to interpretation. Some people may not agree with it, so. Yeah, it's just that simple, right? So,
but so far we're heading in the right direction.
Oh,
So-
absolutely. That was the key to my promise to myself and to everyone was the idea is I'm going to be going before June because if I keep waiting, then I'll be saying it a month, 2, 3, 4 from now, and it never happened.
Also could be a black border around the letters that might help out too. The blue letters.
Yeah,
Who knows?
I mean it's fine. I mean, I like it as is. The logo maybe could be just so people can read it easier with some tweaking, but yeah, we'll see in time. Can evolve. So, but the idea is, like I said, all this stuff's subjective, right? And I liked I told you this. I liked your thumbnail for that video you're working on, and some people weighed in their own, and that's fine. It's subjective.
Okay, wait a minute.
I just put like a slight stroke around the tech, and it sticks out a little bit more.
Interesting.
Wait a minute.
They're the same size font. That's the only thing is I'll have to make shark fin a little bit bigger because when you make the font the same size and you put a stroke around the tech, it makes it appear bigger.
Yeah, that's something like that was talking.
But yeah, that's just a quick little. I was just
Okay,
hey,
so-
I can pull this up real quick and.
So yeah, you and I, we all need to get together and talk. So, thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it, Michael.
And then of course you have you can do shadows and stuff on there too.
Yeah, you can do shadows and that. That's what I was thinking. Let me go back because Michael Pepper. Go back to this normal view. Why does this
Michael flexing those Canva mobile skills.
There, with a little bit of a
Yeah,
shadow
there you
behind
go.
it.
Okay. Interesting. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I like that better.
Oh, this is Pixelmator, by the way.
Yeah, I know. You use Pixelmator all the time.
I like it
Oh,
because
that's not Canva.
so
That's interesting.
they have a
No.
preset. They have a preset for YouTube channel art size. So
Uh,
that's like the dimensions, and then the only thing is I wish I had an overlay for because you got to make everything like super small and put it in the middle so when you go on mobile it shows up right, and then it looks funky on the desktop. I wish that YouTube had where you could assign
There you go.
different channel art. So you could just
Mhm.
go in and you'd make one on desktop, and then you go in like on the YouTube mobile app and make one, and it would automatically assign it to whatever. So that way you don't have to figure out like, oh, it's got to be really everything has to be in the middle so it shows up in mobile. But then when you look at it on a desktop, it's all, and then if you
You're
look at it on
seeing
like
the same
the
problem we
TV,
have.
it's all weird.
Yeah.
I used to have somebody had sent me a like a layout for it that I had, and it was just
Yeah, I had it too, but I lost it.
it just then you had to like turn down the transparency on it so you could see through it to see what you were working on, and then bring it back
Wow.
up so you could actually see that it was around. It was just not very handy to use, so I just eyeball it.
Wow.
It's fun.
Yeah, I like the letter you did. The blue letter is 10 times better than mine. But that's like a 2-second fix. Just
Yep.
do the color dark. Yeah, I might as well stay here a couple more minutes. I don't mind. If y'all don't mind. I mean, I went over time, but who cares? I mean, whatever. So so see, that's content creation. That's helping each other. But I like that all of us just came from a background that we did content creation before we became YouTubers. You know, we all did it a different way. You did the camera. Michael Pepper went to school for it. I did it in high school, but nothing that I did in high school translates to today day and age and digital world. Nothing. So I was struggling.
Right.
Uh,
Well, that's definitely true with me because, like I say, both I've been having to be dragged both that original broadcast, TV experience, quote unquote, way back then. All that's gone now, and same with the film photography, having to be drag kicking and screaming, so to speak, into the digital video world, and it is an eye opener. There is a learning curve. It's not for everyone, right? We've talked about that before. It's not for everybody. But that doesn't mean it can't be for you, for any particular person, if you apply yourself. If it's something you really want to do, this shouldn't be that much stopping you. If you really want to do it, you can do it, It's a cliche, and I really do believe in this. If I can do it, you can do it, because I don't think I'm anyone special when it comes to that, especially since even at my age, I'm having to learn all this stuff now, editing, even just editing. Yeah, editing is going to be a huge uphill battle for me because I've never really done it before like that. But it's what I'm willing to take on. Yeah.
I have a question for you.
His age, mobile geezer.
So are you going to, is Sharkfin Tech your brand and that you introduce yourself with your legal name, or do you introduce yourself as Sharkfin Tech and it's like your name and your brand for your channel? Because I know some people like, Viper, nobody knows there's very few people know his actual name.
Yeah.
And then like Tech for Your Needs for the longest, and there's still people that probably don't know his actual name. So depending on how you introduce yourself, because I started going, and I don't actually even introduce myself anymore. I wait till the end. I don't know if you've noticed, like at the end, then I say, my name is Michael Pepper of Michael Pepper Tech, blah, 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 and because to me, it became my brand. I wish I would have started out like that. Like Michael Pepper Tech is my brand, and I can do non-tech stuff under like the MPT thing, which is what I've started doing. I was just curious, like, if you were going to have that as like your brand, but then go by your name. So if you wanted to do other non-tech stuff, you'd still have your name developed into it, and you could have like, I don't know, what other, if you were into, I don't know, antique collecting or something, you could have like that as like another.
Yeah. No, I see what you mean. No, great question.
Like a branch out like a tree type of
Yeah.
idea.
Well, like I said, Sharky's been my nickname for like 30 years or more. So it could be like, say I wanted to do a music thing, I play guitar, I sing a bit on the side, right? I could call it Sharky Sings or something silly like that, right?
American Idol.
Yeah, well, not really, but you know what I mean. So that's my name anyway, and I'll start everybody saying, like you said, Michael, or ending with "Hey, I'm Mark." Da da da. Yeah, even in my intro video, I say my name. And so the Shark FinTech is that's the brand for that and that those things. But the Shark is still part of it's just my nickname in general. So I may brand other channel or use that nickname toward other like side if I do a second channel or side projects like that, so to speak. Yeah. So
Don't fret the shark. Frets isn't like.
yeah,
Oh,
don't jump the shark, right? That's the
Yeah. That's what I was playing off from, but like don't fret the
Mhm.
shark and have it like.
oh nice, yeah. There you go.
Today I'm gonna teach you how to play dun dun.
Yeah, right. Dun, 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 dun. Funny.
Yeah,
I
but it's good. Yeah, it's good because I like what he's doing. It's going to talk about the finance part, but introduce that with the tech because it's going to entwine. Without
Yeah,
this, you cannot use tech. I mean, finance. It's all about the tech.
right.
And I mean, you can get really deep into it. Like, okay, what type of processing power do you need in order to be able to like multi-monitor host if you're really into like trade monitoring? Like,
Yes, that's a great point.
can you do that with just a simple, you know, is it necessary to have more than one monitor? Multi-monitor versus ultra-wide.
Right.
And then if you really wanted to get into it, there's the whole discussion of like, okay, the advantage of like if you have a Mac and an iPad and you're on the go, you flip out your MacBook and your iPad and you do and you can do split screen on the Mac and then do like a third one with via sidecar on your iPad, and you could have your phone out for doing your trade
Yeah,
in your apps
sidecar,
or
you
whatever.
give us
Like
control.
other, and I mean those are things I've thought about as well with, and I will extend this offer to you. I would love to do as you get started in this. I want to have you come on my secondary Behind the Minds channel, and I want to ask you, interview you in perspective of some things because I have some ideas as far as
Later.
like some cool stuff that I think would be, and might help because I like helping people. Lewis
Hey,
knows
take
this.
long
Might
enough.
help inspire you with some ideas for some videos too. So
Wow. Thanks so much, Michael.
I
Yeah,
would just love to have you come on and we can do it and we can figure
Yeah,
that out.
pick his
So
brain.
pick your brain because there's just some things that like came to mind of like, hey, maybe this is some stuff that you can work off from, or
sure.
because
Yeah.
I don't
No, thank you.
I have a narrow knowledge on it, but nothing comparative of like my dad. My dad was did some day trading back in the day.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He was
Interesting.
an investment broker at one point, like
Wow.
helping people make. He quit doing that when it started getting a little when the companies got a little scummy on it. Same reason he quit
Yeah.
insurance, because they were all about and not
Yep.
about, and the ethics kind of went away with that for a brief period,
Yep.
70s and 80s there.
Yep.
But yeah, at one point he was, and today everything's changed so dramatically. You can't just sit down and like do what you did back then. The faster the technology you have in front of you, the more accurate it is.
Yeah.
You benefit people. You can communicate with breadths of people across. I mean, in theory, you could have a FaceTime call with, I mean, I don't know I think their limit on that's like 32 or whatever, but like Zoom has breadth.
Yeah, 32
So you
people.
could have multiple devices out doing like multiple calls and literally have groups of people that you're interacting with and like discussing these things and like that you couldn't do back then. Literally, I could just pull up this and like have
It's so
access to
true.
like, I could be like, you know what, Sharky, I've gotten together and I'm working with, such and such
Sharky?
from such, I'm working with, I have an opportunity for you. I've decided, I made my first million making YouTube videos. I want to invest, and I've reached out and I'm interacting with the attorneys from such and such law firm. I need to have you on. And literally you could just pop on your iPad or your phone and we could have this conversation from like hundreds or thousands of miles away from them. They could be over in like Beijing or like, Taipei or wherever, anywhere around the world, literally Bangladesh, anywhere.
That is happening as we speak. Absolutely. Yeah. It's crazy.
It's amazing to me. Like,
yeah, it is. Yep. It's if you and they, I think they showed a nice arc of that. If you saw the first Wall Street movie, Michael Douglas, Gordon Gekko, right? It was pretty much a New York centric movie, right? And then wisely, when they did the sequel in 2010, Money Never Sleeps, you could see even then the transition where the sort of evil hedge fund manager, Josh, I'm going to mess up his name. Was it Josh? Not Josh Groban, he's a singer, but you know what I'm talking about, right?
Classical
Yeah.
singer.
And it's not Josh Groban, and Josh, I don't know.
Raise me
His
up.
father is Barbara Streisand's husband, anyway, and he plays an evil hedge fund manager, but he's very internationally involved. He's doing what Michael was kind of just referencing, where he's what they call global macro. He's in all different assets and securities all over the world. It's not just stocks on American stocks like the first. Which was the first Wall Street movie in 1987 was.
Why, Charlie? Now you got me thinking in my head. You raised me up.
Okay, yeah, different Josh, like I said, but good stuff.
I actually just have an idea for you. I don't know if I'm assuming you have something where you keep notes. If you have something, I have a request. I would like to see you do a history journey if you don't already have this planned out, but like tech like, okay, where kind of finance and Wall Street and like all that started, and the history through the journey of tech today linked to that, and like how that's affected the way that it happens, and like and access to like who, and obviously you get into like regulation with that, of course, but like
Right.
I'd just be curious, and it'd be an interesting, I don't know if you already have that planned or not, but like to me it would be fascinating, and you can draw in people that might not normally be fascinated in tech because you're talking about tech history but also finance history. So I don't have to know anything about finance, but you're linked to that. And so like if I'm like, oh, this is going to be it's numbers or whatever, but I'm coming in and you're talking about like, okay, originally we were using this I don't know, pencil and paper, and it worked your way through to
right.
super computers, and that took up the space of a freaking house to
pretty
like
much
what the journey through, because I'd be curious to know the journey on that, and to me that would be fascinating at the tech side of it and the finance side.
I love it.
For videos, not excuses. Hell, you got tons of videos.
Because there's like 4 videos right there.
Yeah. So just to narrow down, I think I kind of see what you're saying. So going back to say how the NASDAQ started, right? Because that was the first electronic exchange, right? And then how it's over the last, say, 50 years, not going back to the Great Depression, but
we don't need to go back to like before that, where like, okay, how were they trading? Like what was going on?
Because nothing, right?
Because it didn't really, you were trading, but you were literally like, okay, I'm a farmer that sells corn and you have barley.
Yeah,
and
pretty
this
much.
Is how we trade. Like that was our,
right.
I'm talking about like early, like the, okay, when did the first technology advance in finance and trading stuff?
Yeah.
And then, okay, what was it like? How that process worked, and then expanding up to today, because I'd be curious. It's fascinating to me. It's the same reason like the history of Microsoft and the history of Apple is fascinating. I mean, I did basically a thesis on that when I was taking some.
Sure.
And,
like Pirates of Silicon Valley, great movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's funny.
Curious to know that. I mean, obviously, I'm sure there's somebody that's done it, and I could Google it and stuff. But like from your perspective,
no, absolutely. To have it all in one video.
And you have work experience that you've done, and you've been involved in it, so you have it's a personal tie to you. So I feel like your advantage would be it is personal. You've lived it. It's not just It's not just financial tech. It's tech that you've lived. There you go.
Sort of, yeah. I mean, just to be clear, I wasn't a floor trader. I'm a
no,
tech,
but you have the advanced knowledge on it versus like a lay person that knows absolutely nothing, or even some people that are studying it today that they don't have that hands-on. Like I could study the history of it, but I'll never have I can't go back before I was born, so I'll never have the.
Right,
I mean, if I could, it'd be amazing, but I'll never have that.
Wow, Michael Baker, that's great.
It's interesting because I'll just give one quick sneak preview of what that might look like since we're talking about it. But basically, like what you see on TV, right? If you turn on CNBC on any given day, right, or Fox Business News or whatever one watches, right, Bloomberg, Cheddar, right? You turn those on and you see all this activity, right, at the so-called trading pits or whatever, right? what a lot of people don't know is that's just, think of how an iceberg works, right? You saw Titanic or whatever, right? And, this much of the iceberg is above the water, and this much of the iceberg is under the water, right? That does most of the damage, right? Right? And that's kind of what, when you see the NYSE, the New York Stock Exchange on TV, or even some, shots they might do, they show the NASDAQ, but especially with the NYSE, and it's like most of the trading that's going on isn't going on that floor. It's going on behind the scenes. So this is what Michael's referring to. It's called HFT, high frequency trading, and that's where most of the action's taking place.
Yeah.
So that's just like for show. Think of that as like a dog and pony show, or a what's the reality of trade? What movie? Oh, that's a great one too. Sure, yeah, I have thought of that one, but thank you. Yeah, definitely. I might even do a couple movie reviews since we already mentioned Wall Street, and one of my favorites is Margin Call, Trading Places. There's tons of good ones.
Because you can get people that like I've gotten hooked on content that I could care less about because they've attached it to other things that, so like the whole like, okay, like this is what happened in this movie, and this would be the actual reality of it, or like, oh, this person did the, or, I don't know. There could be even like the aspect of like this person, the interesting. I would love to see you do this someday. Man, my brain's just spinning through, but the financial aspect of it, along with, and I know this has been discussed, but like, really ties into like Shannon Morse and what she does with like the hacking discussion. So you could actually discuss the idea of like financial, like when there's been movies about like somebody that gets away with some like scheme versus like how realistic would that be? I mean, we've seen it happen. We've seen these schemes, but like how realistic would that be? And like, okay, would they get caught? And you could even throw in okay, they most likely would get caught, but this is how I don't know. You'd have to be really careful. But this is how I would do. This is how theoretically, I'm not condoning or giving advice, but like theoretically, I would do to be able to, like, in reality, you would have to do it this way to get through. I think that would be really fascinating to people, and you'd obviously you wouldn't be able to play the clips without some like copyright issue. It'd be like,
just a couple seconds, yeah,
or
absolutely.
Like, a screen grab or like a discussion or whatever you could use, and I mean there's free use stuff out there. I mean, you go on Pexels.com, and there's like, if you were to type in like tech, there's a lot of like shows the numbers like a hacker on the screen typing stuff in that you can free use. There's like video clip from it, like, so that stuff you can use free use, no copyright on it, nobody can,
right. I see what you mean. But
to me it would be fascinating.
And also, I want to say something. Sorry. Also, when you do the history, you got to make the history. Okay. What Michael said is perfect, but how can you convey that in a fun way? Because I don't.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah. It'll have to be visual and a lot of, like, as Michael said, good screenshots and different, and that's
your personality, your joke. Because if you're talking so long about the subject, it might be interesting. People are gonna fall asleep. Trust me.
Well, or people would just say, why would I just not watch a documentary on CNBC where I know it's professionally, because those are the ones that bore people. Some of them are very good. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I mean, you want to make it fun. That's the whole thing with YouTube, right?
My thought on it would be something pretty, if you could do it, something pretty quick. You wouldn't have to go too in depth on like, okay, this is how it started. This
like an overview.
And then major changes. You wouldn't literally go year by year or cover things that weren't really
you can't.
important to the you could be like, okay, and then in we had I don't know, in 1970 this changed, and this is an important area for those that are discussing finance, and then go into it, and then
you're just hitting the major
highlights. It wasn't until 20 years later in the 1990s that this happened, and this is why we had. And then you'd have like, and this was why we had the issue in 2008 with the crash and all that in there. And now you're to today, work your way to. It could be pretty quick. It's not like, I'm not asking you to do a Flossie Carter,
oh God,
or like, Zack Snyder cut on it. Please don't.
Right.
I saw this video today, an hour and 11 minutes, and I was I'm about to cry. So I put it at the end of my watch. Like, watch later list because I was like, that's gonna be something I'll watch when everybody's asleep and I'm probably doing like watching something else at the same time,
Right.
like TikTok
Or break it
or
up into 2 or
reading or
3.
looking at tech
Yeah.
history at the same time, and then
Right.
just listening in the background because I like the way he covers stuff in depth. But like, yeah, so
But
the
it's too
quick
much. Yeah.
would be interesting.
That's the idea. I think you have to break it up into increments or just have it be hit highlights,
Yeah.
Like it, again, if we're talking about realistic movies, I'll give a quick tease with, one of the, to my Margin Call, I recommend to everyone because to me, that was the best description of the 2008. I've had crisis that brought ultimately first not brought the bond market down, but the stock market as well. And to a decent degree, the economy, right? I can tell you there's a key scene in the movie in the middle, a boardroom, boardroom meeting, right? For the executive committee, whatever, of this fictional firm that's modeled after Lehman Brothers, right? And that scene that encapsulates everything you need to know, right? It's an all-star cast, Jeremy Irons and Demi Moore and the guy from The Mentalist and I don't know, I'm forgetting some, but it's just Kevin Spacey, bunch of great actors. But I actually been in meetings like that, not quite at that high level, but in middle level meetings where, and it's like they just captured the whole thing of zeitgeist of it, where the narrative where you kind of everyone knows it's not a good meeting, right? There's people are going to get yelled at if not fired, so you're all just sitting there, and someone's like, they pass out like someone they pass out a handout, and people just will kind of nervously look through the handout, like flip the pages with their thumb just to pretend they're busy, and everyone looks down. And the idea is the first person to look up might have to interact with the speaker, which is probably some mid-level to high-level manager, and that person might start asking you questions. You don't want to be that person, right? So, yeah, it's just it just captures all that perfectly. So.
Yeah, and you know what? The highlights are good, but you also got to think about viewer retention. Remember,
Yeah, right.
grab the person. The boring history. People are, I don't care about the history. I just want to know, so you got to be careful with those things. I mean,
Absolutely.
if you do go in a fun way, it could. Long form, perfect example, Flossie Carter. I sit
Right.
there sometimes, oops, I watch the whole thing, meaning I don't want to, but. So you got to catch the viewer. That's the tricky part because with stuff like that, highlights for 5-6 minutes, that's fine. But if people go into depth and hours, nah.
Yeah.
Nah, 10 minutes pushing it for me because I would probably fall asleep. But I like to learn those stuff and I will learn, but I'm being, thinking about the other side of people. How can you catch the viewer? Because that is perfect for your channel, but also, you can entwine a little bit here and there, your face and jokes and stuff like that, go back and forth. But I love what Michael Pepper said, but you also got to think, how can I retain the audience? Because, the history, you could read it, you can find a document, but how can you find engagement for your audience and make it, okay, I want to watch more. And that's the part that you need to grab.
It could even be a series, like part 1, part 2, something like that. That you break it up, right? Yeah. So that way it's not all.
And then like 5 minutes, because I think anything above 8 minutes, I don't know. I'm not a history guy. Sometimes I get
certainly
bored.
Above 10 or 15 or 20. I think you lose. Even people who are into it might be like, okay.
For me, pushing it. For me, 8 is not off.
8 to 12 minutes is about what I found is the optimal max for
sweet spot, right?
And if you go too far below that, if you go too far below that, you need to be at 5 minutes, and then you'll get an average maybe retention of half. And if you go, and then like I said, that 5 to 8 minutes is really weird range for some reason. Well, the 8 to 12 I found tends to be really a solid, good length in there. And even when I'm watching stuff, I'm like, oh, that's about it. That makes sense. And it makes sense because it's in the numbers of things, because the way the human brain works with numbers and all that. But I had a really funny thought. I don't know why. I know you wouldn't do it, but why do I see an intro where I see a shark walk in, and then you pop out and it goes, and I hear something like a Shark Fin Tech, it's not really a shark, it's me, Mark. You pop out of the.
I actually kind of like that. That's
a sort of playing guitar, and then you sing to it, and then you peel off the shark, and it's you.
So that would be like Travis and
you got dollar bills for the eyes.
It'll be like Tim Cook when he did the iPad rebuild M1.
Oh, this.
Yeah.
So he put it there, and they that
Oh,
something
wow,
like
really? Oh, I didn't even see that. That's funny. But I'm thinking like sort of like what Michael's describing as like Travis MCP, but on steroids. Yeah, it's like you'll learn more about Wall Street right after this.
oh, this is a bit you made about tech.
Right. That's great, man. Yeah, there's so much good stuff out there.
I'm gonna cut it out because in 2 hours. I don't want to overdo it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, finish what you're gonna finish.
I'm also picturing. I give this tech five fins. Like,
Oh,
you
yeah,
have a shark
yeah.
fin rating, right? You gotta have a
I
shark
have thought
fin
of that.
rating.
Yeah.
What is the song?
It would be brilliant.
Whatever the shark song, the new one for the kids.
Oh,
Shark.
Baby Shark. Yeah, I hate that song. No
Baby
offense.
Shark.
And even
Oh my God.
even like merch, like I can see like merch for it, and I can even see
Right.
I can even see I don't know I even see you have like some logo that's like for the number of like the shark fin rating, and then somebody can buy like a sticker with that logo on it, or like a hat or a shirt or like whatever. The marketing on that is already there. I mean, you have to be careful about like the shape and like other companies that use
Right.
fins as logos, but it'd be a pretty.
Uh-oh.
I'm also seeing the way that the fin works. How you have like the thing at the bottom, like the shark, like
Oh,
at the
yeah.
bottom, you have the fin come off. You could have like an S near like the head, towards the head part, and like an F that kind of comes more where like the fin part is, and then you have like the T towards the tail area if you want to like SFT on like the.
Yeah, I like it. No, it's a
Okay.
great ideas. I appreciate it. I'm thinking like ultimately be like what you're saying, Michael, like an anthropomorphized, kind of like the old Charlie Tuna, some StarKist things, whatever. And he has like, I don't know, Bitcoin in one hand and a bond or some stocks in the other. We'll see, but anything like that. I guess whatever, like you say, you can take it in many crazy ways as I want, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, fellas, I think I'm gonna cut it off right here because.
Great.
Thank everybody for coming in.
Hashtag 2-hour stream.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for coming, everybody. I appreciate everybody. I'm gonna put the links of the panel. Also look at the actual guests because most of them are tech reviews. If you like what you see, subscribe. Don't forget to tune in same time, same channel. I'll see you around in the interwebs, folks. Peace and love.
Thanks for having me. Have a good one, guys.